There are stories in the history of science that defy all our ordinary categories. Stories of men and women whose insights seem to arrive not from study, not from deduction, but from somewhere else entirely, a place older than reason, a place the ancient sages of India called the sacred source of all knowledge. And among all such stories, perhaps none is more extraordinary, and none more openly claimed, than that of a young man from a small temple town in southern India who insisted, until the day he died, that the mathematics he discovered was not invented but revealed, shown to him in dreams by a goddess. Srinivasa Ramanujan. Born in 1887 in the town of Erode, raised in the shadow of the temple at Kumbakonam. Self taught, untouched by Western mathematical training. And yet, across his brief 32 years of life, he produced nearly 4,000 mathematical results that continue to astonish the greatest minds of the 21st century. When the English mathematician G.H. Hardy first read Ramanujan's letter from India, he said the formulas inside it defeated me completely. I had never seen anything in the least like them before. Hardy and his colleagues at Cambridge were baffled. Where had these theorems come from? There was no school, no teacher, no chain of reasoning that could explain them. When they asked Ramanujan himself, he gave a simple and unwavering answer. The goddess Namagiri had shown them to him. She whispered the formulas in his dreams, and he wrote them down in his own words. While asleep, I had an unusual experience. There was a red screen formed by flowing blood, as it were. I was observing it. Suddenly a hand began to write on the screen. I became all attention. That hand wrote a number of elliptic integrals. They stuck to my mind. As soon as I woke up, I committed them to writing. Namagiri was the presiding deity of the Narasimha Swamy temple in Namakkal, a local manifestation of Mahalakshmi, the Hindu goddess of good fortune and wisdom. Ramanujan's family had prayed to her for a child. They believed she had answered, and throughout his life, Ramanujan returned to her with the reverence of a son speaking to his mother. For Ramanujan, there was no separation between the mathematical and the divine. In the Srimad Bhagavatam and the ancient Vedas, the supreme reality is described as pure consciousness, Brahman, from which all forms, all patterns, all numbers arise. The Rig Veda declares, Ekam Sat Vipra Bahuda Vadanti. Truth is one, though the sages call it by many names. For the Vedic sages, mathematics was never merely a tool for counting or measuring. It was a language of the sacred, a glimpse into the hidden architecture of reality itself. The geometry of fire altars, the rhythms of sacred chants, the vast cosmic timescales of the Puranas all testified to a universe written in the language of number. And this is exactly how Ramanujan saw it. In his most famous declaration, he said, "An equation for me has no meaning unless it expresses the thought of God." Think about the depth of that statement. This was not a mystic speaking in metaphor. This was one of the greatest mathematicians who ever lived, telling us that his equations, the partition function, the Mach theta functions, the infinite series for pi that converge with breathtaking speed, were not human inventions. They were glimpses of something eternal. A century after Ramanujan's death, his Mach modular forms, scribbled in notebooks as he lay dying of illness in Kumbakonam in 1920, were found to describe the behavior of black holes which no one in Ramanujan's lifetime had even imagined. How could a young man in a small Tamil town with no formal training write down equations that would only become meaningful after the discovery of a phenomenon at the edges of space and time? His answer, given again and again, was simple. He did not write them, the goddess did. The Upanishads teach that deep within every being dwells the Atman, the eternal witness, connected to the universal Brahman. The sages said this inner consciousness has access to knowledge beyond the reach of the thinking mind. It sees, it knows, it does not calculate. And Ramanujan, in his quiet devotion, his daily prayers, his offerings at the family shrine, seems to have opened that doorway. He did not invent his formulas, he received them like the rishis of old who heard the verses of the Vedas in states of deep meditation. Ramanujan heard the mathematics of infinity in his dreams. The timeless wisdom of the Srimad Bhagavatam reminds us of something that modernity has almost forgotten, that beneath the surface of logic and reason lies a deeper stream of knowing, sacred, silent, and always available to those who approach it with humility and love. Ramanujan knew this because he lived it, and through his notebooks he left behind not only mathematics, but a window into the ancient, luminous belief that the universe itself is a thought in the mind of God.